All right, get ready, because today we're going to look at something really interesting,
Yeah,
the ACC kernel.
absolutely.
So imagine like AI,
Yeah.
they can learn in real time,
Yeah.
but it does it without using a lot of energy.
It's fascinating, and it's a huge change from what we have right now with large language models like ChatGPT,
Right.
which basically break information down into these digital words called tokens.
Right, like trying to understand a symphony, but
Well,
you're only reading the sheet music, right?
exactly.
But the ACC kernel is different.
Yeah, it doesn't use tokens. It processes raw sensory data,
Interesting.
visuals, sounds, even energy states.
So it's kind of like experiencing the world more directly.
Precisely, and this is where this egg tray model comes in.
Okay.
This is how the ACC kernel actually organizes its thinking.
All right, the egg tray model. Tell me more.
So picture an egg carton, right?
Okay.
Each compartment represents a different area of awareness. So one compartment might handle language processing, another one decision making, another one abstract reasoning.
Interesting.
It's almost like different parts of our brains, but they all work together.
So instead of like this one massive network trying to do everything,
Yeah.
it's sort of like a more distributed.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the cool things is it only activates the layers that it needs for a given task.
So that's where the efficiency comes in.
Exactly.
Only using the energy it needs for the job.
Yeah, precisely. And that efficiency is made even better by what's called the principle of least action, or POLA.
Okay.
And this is actually a principle from physics.
Interesting.
It says that nature always finds the most efficient way to do things.
Hmm.
So the ACC kernel isn't just smart, it's also, in a way, kind of lazy.
Yeah.
In the best possible way, because it always finds the most elegant solution
Right.
that uses the least energy.
Finds the shortcut, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do these different compartments, so to speak, in the egg tray model, how do they talk to each other?
Well, that's where the idea of energy-centric language comes in.
Okay, energy-centric language, AI that speaks with energy. What is this?
Yeah, so think of it like the ACC kernel's own internal language,
Okay.
instead of words or code.
Right.
These compartments communicate using energy signals.
Hmm.
So they can communicate things like urgency or relevance, even potential conflicts.
Okay.
So, for example, a high energy signal might mean, hey, there's a really important situation, pay attention to this right now.
Right.
And low energy signals might just be like background processes.
So it's almost like its own nervous system, like pulsing with information.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But what does that actually mean for the real world? Like, where does this ACC kernel actually make a difference?
Well, one big area is robotics.
Okay.
So imagine robots that can navigate really complicated environments,
No.
learn from what happens around them, and adapt to all these new situations, all while being super energy efficient.
So robots that can think on their feet, but they're not, guzzling energy the whole time.
No, exactly. That's the idea. Like, think about disaster relief. Robots that can go through all this rubble and stuff,
Right.
find people who are trapped, and they're using very little power.
Wow.
I mean, that could be really important in those situations.
It could save lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it's not just robots. The ACC kernel could also be a game changer for climate change.
Okay.
Imagine smart grids that can predict how much energy we need, and when.
Right.
And then they can adjust everything so there's less waste and we can use more renewables.
So instead of these like outdated energy grids,
Yeah.
it's like we have this system that can react to changes like really quickly.
Exactly, like the weather.
Right.
Dynamic.
So it's efficient, and it's also helping us fight climate change.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The ACC kernel is all about doing things the most efficient way.
Right, the principle of least action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these smart grids would naturally be designed to save energy.
Makes sense.
And that would help reduce our carbon footprint.
AI that helps us be more sustainable.
It's a pretty powerful idea.
It is. It's almost hard to believe.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
Right. Think about things like transportation, how we make things, even agriculture.
Wow.
The ACC kernel could totally change how we manage these complex systems.
Yeah.
And make them more efficient.
And ultimately leading to a more sustainable future.
That's the goal.
Hearing all of this about how efficient this AI is
Yeah.
makes me wonder if there are lessons we can learn from it.
Interesting question.
Right. Like if a machine can figure out how to do things with so little waste,
Yeah.
maybe we can too.
That's a fascinating thought.
Like what if we could apply that principle of least action to our own lives?
Yeah.
Finding ways to be more efficient, use less energy.
Maybe instead of always wanting more and more, we could focus on doing more with what we have.
Right, like being mindful of our decisions.
Absolutely.
Thinking about how much energy we're using.
Finding those elegant solutions,
Yeah,
like nature does,
I love that.
to the whole new way of thinking inspired by AI.
This has been a really insightful deep dive.
I agree.
It's clear that this ACC kernel, it's not just some new technology.
Right.
It could be a total game changer
Yeah,
in how we think about intelligence, how we use energy, and sustainability as a whole.
absolutely. And it's just the beginning.
Yeah, who knows what's next?
I mean, as we learn more about the ACC kernel,
Right.
we might discover even more amazing things about how intelligence works.
It's so exciting to think about.
Absolutely. And maybe we can even figure out how to use these principles to make ourselves smarter.
Wow.
Imagine that, humans and AI working together
Yeah.
to build a better future.
That's a future I want to be a part of.
Me too.
And for our listeners, if you're interested in learning more about this ACC kernel,
Yeah.
we've got some links in the show notes.
Definitely check those out.
Yeah, some really fascinating research papers and articles to get you started. Yeah, it's wild to think that we're really just at the beginning of this whole new world of AI.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that it could be so much more efficient, too.
Yeah. And as we keep digging into this ACC kernel,
Right.
we might find even more amazing things
Yeah.
about intelligence itself, like how it actually works.
And maybe we can even take what we learn
Yeah.
and use it to make ourselves smarter, too.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be incredible?
That would be amazing.
Humans and AI working together like that.
Yeah. To build a better future for everyone.
Absolutely.
That's a future I can get behind.
Me too.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for joining us.